Planes go down. What planes don't do is just vanish off the face of the earth.
Airlines confirms it has lost contact with a plane carrying 227 passengers.
It seems to have vanished into thin air.
What do we tell the family members? What do we tell the media?
How does one of the most advanced aircraft in the world, carrying 239 people, vanish without a trace? No distress call, no crash site, no clear answers. This is the story of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a mystery that has haunted aviation for more than a decade. On March 8, 2014, a routine red-eye flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing turned into the greatest aviation mystery of the 21st century. Flight MH370, a Boeing 777-200ER, departed just after midnight. Its flight time was scheduled for about 6 hours. Its passengers a mix of families, students, and business travelers. But less than an hour into the journey, the flight disappeared from civilian radar, leaving behind questions that still have no definitive answers. Today, we revisit the disappearance, the massive search operations, the evidence we do have, the theories that have emerged, and the latest developments in 2025 that may finally bring us closer to the truth. At 12:41 a.m., MH370 lifted off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The weather was clear. Everything appeared normal. For the next 38 minutes, the flight progressed uneventfully. At 1:07 a.m., the plane's ACARS system, responsible for transmitting technical data, stopped sending reports. At 1:19 a.m., air traffic controllers instructed the plane to switch to Vietnamese airspace. The co-pilot responded with what would become his final words on record. "Good night, Malaysian 370. 2 minutes later, the plane's transponder, its electronic identification, was switched off. The aircraft disappeared from civilian radar, but military radar later revealed something chilling. The plane had abruptly changed course. It turned back across the Malay Peninsula, flew over the Andaman Sea, and then disappeared entirely at 2:22 a.m. What happened next remained hidden for years. Only later did investigators uncover a trail of satellite handshakes, automatic signals exchanged with an Inmarsat satellite that showed MH370 flew on for nearly 7 more hours, finally going dark around 8:11 a.m. in the remote reaches of the southern Indian Ocean. The disappearance triggered the largest and most expensive search in aviation history. Dozens of nations contributed ships, planes, and satellites. Searchers scoured the South China Sea, the Strait of Malacca, and the Bay of Bengal. Then attention shifted to the southern Indian Ocean, guided by those mysterious satellite pings. Between 2014 and 2017, Australia led an enormous effort covering 120,000 square kilometers of seabed. Autonomous underwater vehicles scanned the depths, some areas reaching more than 6,000 meters below the surface. But after years of searching, nothing was found. In 2018, private company Ocean Infinity launched a no find, no fee mission, surveying an additional 112,000 square kilometers. Despite using advanced drones and sonar, they too came up empty. Yet evidence did emerge, just not where anyone expected. In July 2015, more than a year after the disappearance, a beachcomber on Réunion Island in the Indian Ocean stumbled upon a piece of wreckage. It was a flaperon, part of a 777's wing. DNA tests confirmed it belonged to MH370. Over the next few years, additional debris surfaced in Mozambique, Madagascar, Tanzania, South Africa, and Mauritius. More than 30 pieces of confirmed or likely wreckage were eventually recovered. These fragments proved the plane had ended its journey in the southern Indian Ocean, but they didn't reveal the why, the how, or the exact location of the crash. The absence of clear answers has fueled countless theories. Let's examine the main ones. Some investigators suspect deliberate action. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, the pilot, had plotted a flight path on his home simulator eerily similar to MH370's final trajectory. Could he have hijacked his own plane and flown it into oblivion? Supporters of this theory point to the deliberate disabling of communications systems and the calculated path across Malaysia. Critics argue there is no conclusive evidence of suicidal intent. Another theory suggests a sudden emergency, such as an electrical fire or a catastrophic depressurization, incapacitated the crew. The plane might have flown on autopilot until fuel exhaustion. However, critics note that disabling both ACARS and the transponder seems too deliberate for a simple failure. Some argue hijackers might have seized the plane, intending to land it elsewhere, only for the plan to fail. Yet no terrorist group ever claimed responsibility, and no radar picked up an unscheduled landing. A darker possibility suggests the aircraft may have been accidentally shot down by military forces and covered up. But with so many nations involved, this theory lacks strong supporting evidence. One of the simplest theories suggests MH370 became a zombie flight. The crew and passengers may have been incapacitated by hypoxia after cabin depressurization, leaving the plane to fly silently until fuel ran out and it plunged into the ocean. Each theory holds fragments of truth, but none fully explains all the evidence. In recent years, new technology has given investigators fresh hope. Researchers have turned to weak signal propagation reporter WSPR data, radio signals bouncing through the atmosphere, that may have been disturbed by MH370 as it flew. These subtle disturbances are being used to refine possible flight paths. Drift analysis of debris has also become more precise, helping narrow down the potential impact zone. Hydrophone recordings, underwater microphones that can pick up acoustic events, have been studied, though so far no conclusive crash sound has been matched to MH370. In 2024, Malaysia's government agreed, in principle, to a new search with Ocean Infinity, once again under a no-find, no-fee arrangement, offering up to $70 million if the wreckage is located. By February 2025, Ocean Infinity deployed its advanced vessel, Armada 7806, to re-examine high-priority areas. Autonomous underwater drones swept the seabed, searching in previously unexplored locations. But in April 2025, seasonal storms forced a suspension of the mission. The search is expected to resume later this year, offering renewed hope to families and investigators. For the families of the 239 passengers and crew, the disappearance is not just an aviation mystery, it is a wound that has never healed. Annual memorials are held. Many still fight for answers, demanding transparency from governments and continued efforts to locate the wreckage. The uncertainty is perhaps the cruelest part. Without a crash site, without remains, without black boxes, families remain trapped in limbo. The lack of closure fuels both grief and conspiracy, leaving them to wonder what really happened in those final hours. In an era of satellites, global positioning, and real-time tracking, how could a massive Boeing 777 simply vanish? The answer lies in gaps in radar coverage, the deliberate disabling of communication systems, and the vastness of the Indian Ocean. The case of MH370 revealed shocking vulnerabilities in global aviation tracking. In response, the industry has since moved toward real-time satellite monitoring of aircraft. But in 2014, those safeguards were not yet standard. The disappearance of MH370 was not just a tragedy for those on board, it was a wake-up call for the aviation industry. 15 years later, MH370 remains unsolved. It is a story of science, of human perseverance, and of profound mystery. Debris has confirmed its fate, but without the black boxes or main wreckage, we cannot know exactly why or how it happened. Perhaps the ongoing search will finally reveal the truth, or perhaps the Indian Ocean will continue to guard its secret forever. What do you believe happened to MH370? Was it deliberate sabotage, a tragic accident, or something even stranger? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on aviation mysteries and breakthroughs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The story of Flight MH370 is not over, and when new clues emerge, you'll want to be the first to know.